17-1 this season for Duke. 6-0 in conference play. Wake Forest is 11-8 and 2-4 in the ACC. And Duke will possess the ball first. A near steal for Wake. Battle for the loose ball. And the arrow is going to favor the Demon Deacons. Take a look at the starting lineups. Miles Colvin. He's the second leading scorer on the team, almost 13 points per game for the Demon Deacons. And Cameron Boozer, fourth in the nation, just over 23 points per game. And he shoots 59% from the floor. That's fourth in the conference, and he leads them in assists and steals as well. Does everything so well for the Blue Devils.
Yeah, Wake is going to have to find that second and third scorer in this game to complement Harris. Colville can be that guy, Tom. He has been during the course of the year, but just has been very inconsistent.
Schwieger inside for the first two of our game for the Deeks.
That'd be another bonus if he can get going. He hasn't scored much for this team. It hasn't been a factor inside.
He only averages just over 4 points per game for Cooper Schwieger. Trying to get it inside to Boozer. One power dribble through the double team, and he lays it in for Duke.
That's the thing that's been impressive about him is his footwork inside.
Along the baseline, it bounces out for Kelmees.
Kelmees has tweaked his ankle in the last game, which was the reason for the low production, but he has been on a roll prior to that.
He is a double-digit scorer on average for Wake Forest. That goes out of bounds and will be Deacon basketball.
Before that SMU game, Tom, he was averaging 22.5 points a game, and they get a nice screen. And anytime you can catch the ball in motion, you're tough to double team. He makes a very decisive, quick move inside.
Boozer scored in double digits every game, and 9 times this season, Mike, he's gone for 25 points or more, including 35 in a win against Arkansas in late November. Along the baseline, the kick out. Spillers on target for 3.
And again, he's a guy, he's 3 of 14 coming in, Tom, from 3. You take a chance on him, but those are the open shots that Wake is going to have to knock down.
Spillers is the third leading scorer on the team, 11.5 points per game. And as Mike mentioned, just made his 4th 3 of the season early in this first half. Boozer puts it up on the rim, tipped up and in. Ngongba for Duke.
Ngongba, that's his game. Throw him aloud, let him go up and catch the ball. He's been a little inconsistent over this last stretch.
Long distance 3 is good. Juke Harris.
You know, his size really gives you problems. He's very creative with the ball. He's got 3-point range, but very good if he gets into the lane.
49 made threes on the season for Juke Harris, and that leads the team in that category. Foul on the play inside as Dame Sarr tried to get to the rim. Spillers in the neighborhood.
There's one area where Wake Forest has a slight advantage in this game. It's at the free throw line. Duke, not a great shooting team, 70%, not bad, but a strike for Wake Forest, and Sarr at 50%. Doesn't look like a 50% shooter, though.
Head coach for the Blue Devils, John Shire, in his 4th season. Got his 100th career victory, and look at the record in this facility. 56-3 at home, Gene.
Yeah, room for improvement, though, Tom. I mean, come on, 3 losses. That works out to 95%, people.
Shire is 4-2 against Wake Forest, but both of those losses coming in Winston-Salem straight away, and Spillers another 3-ball, G-man.
He had 3 coming in on the season in the first 19 games. Now he's got 2 already.
And the Deeks have made all 3 of their attempts from beyond the arc in the first half. Boozer trying to force the issue against the triple team. He got it back. Sent it back out. Sarr had nowhere to go. Evans Foster's in to grab it to preserve the possession. This stops play.
You know, sometimes you just don't know on a noon start. And boy, but Spiller, you know, it probably gave him a huge boost of confidence to come out and knock down that first one, Tom. And they may have to readjust the scouting a little bit on him.
Juke Harris picked up that last foul for Wake Forest. They go to Boozer and hits the rim on the attempted pass from Tame Sarr. Calmes had to give it up. Got it right back. Trying to drive down the lane. Turnaround comes up way short.
Sarr actually got a hand on that, I think.
Evans was cut off momentarily by Golden. And then a foul is called.
Yeah.
We continue here in the opening minutes. It's Boozer against the double team, and it doesn't stop him.
Yeah, and, you know, that's the thing that makes him dangerous. He can step out of 15 to 18 feet, put it on the floor, and finish, how about with his offhand that time?
It did not take long for Steve Forbes to identify the main issue today against the Blue Devils. We're going to double team him, we're going to triple team him. Sometimes, Mike, it's just not enough.
Well, and the great thing is that he is such a good passer.
Steve Forbes in his 6th season. He's got 103 wins as the head coach of the Deacs. The 6 road wins last season, tying a school record. Wake Forest went 21-11. They were 4th in the ACC. They got the double bye, but lost to North Carolina in the first game they played in Charlotte at the ACC tournament. The destination this season as well. Duke, the defending champs at our ACC tournament. Knocked away and recovered. Schwieger. Shot clock is at 5. Straight away, Colvin to miss.
We said he's been up and down. He's had a 30-point game this year. A lot of it sometimes depends on his start. Not a great look there for him.
Homania into the game for Duke. Where's number 14 in white? Boozer, cross court. Catch and release Evans.
And that's a great look. And that's the thing. You double team Boozer, and they're going to throw that skip pass in the corner to shooters on the other side.
Blue Devils yet to connect from 3-point distance. Wake is 3 of 4. From long range, Calmes.
And you can see Duke's defense on the 3 has gotten a lot stiffer.
Blue Devils as a team this season by 35% on 3-pointers. That is 9th in the ACC. Boozer wants to tee one up but can't knock it down. Schwieger had the position.
Yeah, I talk about percentage, but Duke scores almost a quarter of its points at the free throw line, so that's been a real strength. They get there a ton.
Colvin driving against 2 defenders. Lost it on the way up. Smothered by Boozer and a foul call.
You know, we were talking to John Shire before the game, Tom, and you know, he sent out a text to his team earlier this year that teams were 2-9 when they came back from the West Coast, like Duke did. You know, just getting acclimated for the time change. It's not something that these guys are used to. Last year, you look at Steve Forbes' team. They went out 1 at Cal, 1 at Stanford, and then 1 also on a trip down to Dallas, and lost each of the games coming back.
Don't forget game 2 coming up after us. CW courtside Saturday, Virginia Tech and Louisville. In fact, Louisville was the opponent last year in the title game in Charlotte, Mike, for these Duke Blue Devils.
Well, you know, and it seems like Pat Kelsey every year. I mean, he had a fabulous year last year, but he's had to fight through injuries and kind of keep his team afloat. He's been able to do that. You know, they're certainly going to be a factor when they get completely healthy.
And the Cards will be here Monday.
And Virginia Tech has just had some heartbreaking losses.
Although this week they did go to the Dome and win on the road, which is not an easy place to get a victory. Boozer tries the other side, and once again another miss.
But if you're gonna settle for something with him, that's the shot that you want to give.
Harris misses. Tapped around. Duke has it. Ngongba trying to get to the rim, double teamed. Contact in the paint and a foul call. Blue Devils now just 1 of their last 6 shooting, trailing 13-7.
Well, thing to keep an eye on too. That's Wake's 4th team foul, so 3 more, and Duke will be getting to the free throw line. That's what their aggressiveness does, you draw those early fouls, you get into the bonus a little earlier in the half.
Substitution for Wake. Omaha Baloo comes in. 0 in black and old gold. Caden Boozer. That'll drop for Caden.
Yeah, he's really progressed nicely this year in that backup role at point guard.
Inside for the Deeks, well defended by Cameron Boozer. Mason was turned back. Omega had to give it up. Trying to establish position, an immediate double team. Shot clock is at 6. Caden dribbles into the Wake D, cannot calculate the angle, and it's scooped up by Wake Forest and Makai Mason.
Well, Wake's big double team really cut down Boozer's vision. He couldn't see the opposite corner, and that's why they had to settle for a tough shot.
That is 5 straight misses for Duke. Spillers, the mid-range. He needs to back it out to the three-point distance, Mike.
Too close.
You saw it was an awkward distance, though, right?
Yeah, but you could see, too, the attention to detail. They're also, they've got to lock in on him and quiet him down.
Both teams at 36% shooting as Spillers deflects that one out of bounds, and it will remain with Duke.
And to finish up on that point, as a player, especially in the NBA, it was very tough to travel west to east. You losing that time. John said they got back at 4 in the morning from the West Coast. Takes you a while. It was fortunate for them. They had a week to recover.
Missed by Ngongba. Wait, were you on the charter flights, Mike?
Only for my last 4 years. I flew commercially for the first 10. Thank you very much.
Sometimes. Inside Schwieger. Foul called. Malik Brown was defending.
Won, and they had about 15,000 people in the building, and we lost in overtime. Came back here, had that ceremony in game, and won in overtime by the same score.
Amazing. G-Man had 29 points, 19 rebounds, 7 assists in the OT win against Clemson back in 1980.
7 blocks.
7 blocks
Yeah.
and 7 assists, right?
My teammates would be stunned if I had 7 assists on the year.
If you pass it into me, it's probably not coming back out.
Everything disappears. Light, matter, everything.
Duke still cannot find the range from long distance. It goes out of bounds. It's Wake Forest basketball.
Right now, Tom, Duke really needs to concentrate in getting into the lane area, getting to the rim, getting fouls. They're 0 of 6 from behind the arc, 4 of 7 everywhere else.
They are not a bad three-point shooting team, 35%, 9th in the conference, and they make over 9 per game on average, 5th best in the ACC for Duke.
And that was their big strength in the West Coast run. And then talk about unexpected scoring from guys. And Schwieger has got 4 quick points. So he and Spillers have gotten them off to this quick start.
Schwieger above his season average. With his scoring production in the first half, it'll stay with Duke. Right now, Wake has its largest lead, Mike.
Well, and this, sometimes great players do this. They make things available to other people. And early on, those two have gotten lost. And, just a great look inside.
Blue Devils right now, 31% as a team. Steve Forbes having a quick discussion there with Tony Padilla along that sideline. Off the inbounds! Ngongba on a rim bender for Duke.
Yeah, we told him that's his game, like Derek Lively here a few years ago. Runs the floor, gets to the rim, just throw it up high and let him go get it.
Race for the ball on the weak side. Out of bounds and back to Duke.
This is tough. They fake the pass to the wing, and that's just really too easy from an inbounds play.
Just that little screen, Mike, that Evans set.
Well, and also Ngongba faked outside. He had his hand out, thinking, all right, he's going to be the release in the corner, and then just got a perfect screen.
Ngongba is the third leading scorer on the team, almost 11 points per game, and a thunderous deuce at this end just a moment ago. Evans, hesitation and drive, stumbles down, wrestle for the basketball, and the arrow will favor the Duke Blue Devils. Got tied up with Mason.
And Evans is a guy they need to get going. He's been fabulous, especially in league play, is up to scoring average to 20 per.
All of the Duke field goals so far as they trail by 5 have come in the paint. Let's see what they do on this inbounds. Evans along the baseline against 3 defenders, nowhere to go. Scooped up and kept alive. Sarr, shot clock at 3. Boozer must shoot. A little old school runner that did not hit the rim. Shot clock violation against Duke.
And they tried to get him aware, and you know, for Boozer, you're out front, you should be able to see the clock. Now this is Schwieger again. Actually, there were 3 guys who converged on that play. Great defensive help on the drive. Ngongba's got some blood. Got a cut on his hand somewhere.
He and his teammates have won 6 in a row. Defeated Stanford last Saturday, 80-50.
But Tim Duncan never lost in this building. Came here 4 times, came away with 4 W's.
That was the last win for Wake back in '97. Tim Duncan.
Tyler Hansbrough, the only other player in modern times or recent memory to do that.
Caleb Foster picked up the foul. Junior from Harrisburg, North Carolina. Blue Devils 0 for 7 from beyond the arc. 3 of 7 on 3-pointers for Wake Forest. Spillers has 2 of those made threes. The shot clock is at 8. Schwieger, show and go against Boozer. Hesitation move. Schwieger against Boozer.
Yeah, it just, you know, it's fine to lock in and take the primary scorers out, and that's what you're, you know, defensively, that's what you're focused on. But credit Wake's 3rd, 4th, and 5th scorers who have stepped up.
Schwieger's got 7 points to lead the way, and Duke gets a dunk at the other end from Brown.
Malik Brown, he just makes winning plays for this team. So good defensively.
Easy rebound for Sarr. Foster trying to get to the rim, got tied up. It was fouled by Akins.
Yeah, and you know, his ability, we haven't seen that much from him to create off the dribble. But then again, all eyes just locked in on Cameron Boozer, and those are the passes that he makes extremely well.
Trying to attack the rim with a baseline and a foul. As Sarr had a head of steam. And he got bumped in midair, mind you, by Mason.
Well, in the last few possessions, Duke has really tried to attack the basket, build their offense from inside out.
Steve Forbes 2-8 against Duke as the head coach, and 0-5 in this building. Your favorite board games are now your favorite game shows. All new seasons of Trivial Pursuit, hosted by LeVar Burton, and Scrabble, hosted by Craig Ferguson, are on now. Every Thursday, 8, 7 Central, right here on the CW.
I mean, you look at it, I said the number 50%, but sometimes you look at a player and say, that's not a 50% shooting form, and Sarr looks very comfortable at the line.
Front rim on the 3, Kaliz. Wake lost at home on Tuesday against SMU. Quickly in transition for Foster. And it's an 8-2 run and a touch. SMU at home this week. He had 4 points and 2 rebounds in 23 minutes.
And that's been his average. I mean, that's about what he's done. He's been in the starting lineup a couple times recently.
He has not hit double digits in scoring all season, although he has done it 50 times in a career. He spent 2 years at the Valparaiso program. Sarr picked up the foul, his second for Duke. Harris the miss. Spillers keeps it alive.
And that's a big foul that Duke picked up because Sarr has been guarding Harris and has done a decent job on him.
Galmiz angling to the rim, over the defender.
They needed to get him going. He had not scored up to that point in the game. 0 of 4. Before his last game, tweaked his ankle against SMU. Didn't play the second half, but was averaging 22.5 in the 4 games before that.
He had just 4 points in the game against the Mustangs and lost for Wake Forest this week at home. Still looking for a made 3. Sarr got it back to keep it alive. And now Boozer makes his way to the rim. Sarr cleans up the mess.
Nobody there blocking him out. He had a great run at it from the weak side.
5 points for Sarr, the freshman from Orderzo, Italy. They go inside. Spillers can't handle it.
How about that in the, I don't know if that was in the scouting report, a Schwieger lob to Spillers.
Inside of 7 minutes to go in our first half. Boozer teeing up a 3-ball. Follow jam! It's Evans for Duke.
And that's the thing that's really bailed Duke out in this game to this point. First lead, but offensive rebounds, 6 of them.
Sarr on the run, trying to kick it out. Galmiz ends up with it for Wake. Colvin from the corner. Colvin! Ripping ropes for the Deacs.
That way, he is capable of a big game. As a matter of fact, he was the name that John Shire brought up in our pregame talk with him about, hey, you know, we can't overlook this guy.
He's got a 33-point game on his resume this season. Boozer's got the 3 for Duke. And the first made 3 of the game comes with inside of 6 minutes to go.
All right, so both teams have shaken off the winter chill from outside.
Harris had nowhere to go. Spillers on the block. Backing it down against Boozer. And Spillers wins the fight.
Well, it's right there. I mean, there was no chance to double team. You catch the ball with both feet in the paint, and good things are going to happen.
19 points for Spillers in the home loss against SMU on Tuesday, 91-79. 8 points now for Spillers in the first half. Brown for Duke.
1 for 10 on the year coming in. Sure, why not? Let's have Malik Brown and Trayvon Spillers have a 3-point contest.
Second year in the program for Brown after 2 years at Syracuse. He makes the defensive play. Foster, Boozer. It'll fall, and the foul. Boozer to the free throw line.
Here's the play, and actually Malik Brown gets the block to start this very unselfish play. Cameron Boozer runs the floor extremely well and so good finishing with either hand. Yeah, that's seniors would be happy with those numbers back in the day, but that's a freshman.
Completes the old school 3-point play, and the largest lead for Duke is at 5 right now, inside of 5 minutes to go in our first half of play. 264th all-time meeting. Schwieger muscled inside by Ngongba, knocked away. Foster trying to work around the screen. To Ngongba, twisting attempts. Up on the rim, and Colvin emerges with it. Colvin had it knocked away by Boozer. Foster, an alley to the rim.
It's been Duke's team. It's not only the turnovers, but where they've been happening for Wake Forest. They've been out front above their own three-point line. Those turn into automatic points.
6 turnovers for Wake, 7 points for Duke. Ngongba the position, Foster corrals it. Overall, it's a 21-7 run late in this half. Inside the open man is Hamenya. And the run is now 23-7.
Yeah, they're going to really cheat on him and try to overplay him on the outside. It was a good back cut.
Quick shot at the other end by Wake. Deeks now 4 of 13 on three-point tries. 2 of 11 for Duke from three-point real estate. Make it 3 of 12.
It's not the play, it's who's running it. And when you have a pick and roll with Boozer and Isaiah Evans.
It was in Charlotte. That's where we're going this year as well. After Duke won it last year, also in Charlotte. Wake looking for some sort of response, and they'll get it with a three-pointer from Mason.
Yeah, and you know the thing, and Steve Forbes talked about it with us beforehand about, you know, they've been getting some good looks. They just haven't been knocking down shots, and today, much different story.
Evans' shot bounces out. Boozer able to keep it alive.
And again, second chance opportunities for Duke. And then, you know, it's rare that a big man has a positive assist to turnover ratio, but Boozer does, and you see why.
3rd assist of the game for Cameron Boozer. Leads the team in that category this season. Perimeter work by Wake. They end up with a 3 from the other side this time. Ballou.
Where second chances are keeping Duke in the game right now. The three-point shooting for Wake. 15 of their 24 attempts have been from beyond the arc.
They've made 6. Same combination again. Boozer to Ngongba down the lane.
But I almost think that Steve Forbes would prefer that to them getting on fire from behind the three-point line.
3 of 12 on threes in the first half for Duke. Ngongba backing down on Schwieger. Held his ground, committed the foul. With 1:34 to go in the first half.
Yeah, here's the look. And actually, it was a late double team which allowed Ngongba to come in right behind it. And then really good movement of the basketball. You know, the guys who haven't been big threats are going to get good looks. And then, you know, for Duke, if I'm Wake Forest, I'm packing it inside and saying, you know, try to beat us over the top.
Schwieger picked up the foul for the Deeks. Ngongba's at the free throw line, 67% on the season. 13 points in the win at Stanford last Saturday. It's been a week off for Duke after the trip out to California. Wins against the Bears and the Cardinal. Just the one loss this season.
Yeah, out against Stanford. Cameron Boozer had 20 points in the first half. Stanford had 19 as a team.
That was a huge 30-point win against Stanford for Duke. Ngongba the one-handed rebound. Caden to Cameron on the double team.
Evans was thinking about pulling the trigger there.
Evans has made a 3 in the first half. Boozer's offline into the corner and out of bounds near the Wake bench. It will be Demon Deacons basketball. Coming up on the halftime show presented by Subaru. Love what makes Subaru Subaru. Check out what's happening around the ACC this weekend. Preview our next game, Virginia Tech Louisville, with Tom Brennan and Brian Oliver. We'll talk about the triple header coming up next weekend as well. All in the Subaru halftime report. 45 seconds to go in the first half. All the way across Ballou. He misses. Uncontested rebound from Caden Boozer. About a 6-second difference, game and shot. The despite the struggles from three-point distance, Mike, 50% shooting as a team in the first half for Duke. A lot of close-range buckets. Omenia tees it up. Ngongba right back out to Evans. 3 feet behind the line. Into the corner. One last chance. On an 18-6 run to take the 11-point lead against Wake as the Deacs put it in play, and we crank up the second half on CW courtside Saturday.
Well, let's see what Duke does. If Harris can come alive for Wake Forest, they did a nice job blanketing him in that first half. Against Stanford, Okori is one of the other leading scorers in the league. They held him 14 points below his average.
Colvin behind the back, dribble and spin. Attempted follow by Harris, who came flying in. It was Evans who was defending on Colvin. Sarr picked up the foul. Third on Sarr.
And that's a big early foul for Wake Forest because he has been the primary defender on Juke Harris.
Harris third in the conference in scoring, has the first. The fastest growing. He's a cop, she's a con. Together they're unstoppable. CW's hit series Wild Cards returns with an all-new season. Don't miss Wild Cards season premiere, season 3, Monday 8/7 Central, right here on the CW.
Let's see for Harris if he gets going, getting to the free throw line. Another good look.
Third attempt of the offensive glass. Ngongba for Duke.
I think he just wanted to pad his rebounding stats a little bit, Tom, and didn't score initially, but boy, Boozer doing a nice job finding people there. You see almost a triple team, but Ngongba doing what you should do. If your guy leaves to double team, follow him right to the rim.
Second foul on Schwieger. 67% for the stripe on the season for Patrick Ngongba, the sophomore from Manassas, Virginia. He's also the second leading rebounder on the team, just over 6 per game for Ngongba. He's got 5 rebounds in this game. And he is the leading scorer for Duke with 12 after the free throw. Turnaround from Harris, no good.
It's interesting that John Shire, some guys would have taken their guy out with 3 fouls, and he's trusting Sarr to play with those 3 fouls in defending.
Boozer on target for 3 straight away.
And that's a bad sign for Wake Forest if he gets going from out there.
A miss from the corner, Colvin. Boozer the clearance. 13 points now for Boozer. The drive and bucket from Caleb Foster. And the lead is swelled to 17.
Boy, you know, I just love the way he has not forced anything in this game. He's just taken the drives when they presented themselves.
Schwieger. Ngongba high for the board. Colvin tries to tie him up unsuccessfully.
Second half shots are normally a little tougher than first half.
Spiller held his ground, took it away from Boozer. Harris drew 3 defenders. Got it out to Cal Mason. It bounces out. And Ngongba has the rebound. Foster wants to slow it down for the Blue Devils. In the midst of an 8-0 run as we start the second half. Opening moments. Ngongba had it knocked away by Spillers and out of bounds.
You know, against great players, I mean, you have to give it, you know, you got to make choices. And the way he's been shooting threes, you got to test them from there, but he knocks that down. And that's just a great crossover move against Colvin in the half court.
Boozer has a couple of made threes in the game. Evans stepping back.
But I hope Ngongba is taking Cameron Boozer out to dinner after this game is over. The way he's gotten them buckets in this game.
4 assists in the game for Cameron Boozer. That'll bounce over the rim and in. And the Deeks needed that one desperately from Cooper Schwieger.
Another unexpected. both guys for Wake from 3.
Schwieger is the only Wake player in double digits in scoring, trying to defend Boozer. And it's hard to do.
Well, again, the choice. No double team coming that time. Boozer, look, he takes a look. He sees nobody coming. Go to the middle and then drop in. And the ability to finish with both hands, left and right, serves him on either side of the floor. So either you double team and you leave somebody open on the outside, or you play him one-on-one and he does that.
Amazing how quiet over 9,000 fans can be. It's another sellout.
I never liked that. I like some noise when I was shooting free throw. I didn't like quiet.
How about 550 consecutive sellouts for the Blue Devils here at Cameron Indoor Stadium, their home since 1940. So Sarr comes out of the game. He's got 4 personal fouls now.
And let's see if this gives Harris a little bit of an opening. Sarr has done such a great job defensively on him.
We showed you earlier, Coach Shire is 56-3 in this building on this floor. Coach K court.
Mania doing a nice job staying in front.
4.8 seconds on the shot clock. Wake has lost 3 of its last 4. Looking for a comeback. Schwieger attacking the rim.
Well, you know, if you're looking for positives, I mean, going forward, this is the game that maybe Schwieger is the one he builds confidence on. He's having a terrific afternoon.
12 points on 5 of 7 shooting. Evans lost it at the last second. Spillers took it away, and the outlet commies. Colvin nowhere to go against Boozer. Harris trying to get in rhythm, stumbles at the free throw line. Shot clock's at 7. Spillers got it back somehow to Harris against Boozer. And Boozer fouls Harris late in the shot clock by 1. Coming off a 30-point, 14-rebound performance at Stanford a week ago. Both of those numbers game high, and he was 12 of 17 from the floor in the win against the Cardinals. Juke Harris is at the free throw line. Sophomore from Salisbury, North Carolina.
He's a guy that, again, they've had Sarr on him defensively, and Sarr in foul trouble right now, so that could be an issue. And really, Harris has been kind of sneaking back into this game at the free throw line.
He's an explosive scorer, Mike. Back-to-back games against Miami and North Carolina. 56 points in those 2 games, and he had 27 in the loss to SMU this week at home.
And he really hasn't forced the issue this afternoon, Tom. I mean, you know, some guys are big-time scorers, get a little twitchy and start forcing shots, but he's been pretty patient.
So Ballou comes in for Schwieger, picks up his 4th personal foul. He's the leading scorer for Wake now on the bench with 12 points. Out of the corner, Hamenya.
Hamenya playing horse out there. He had run a defender in the same zip code.
The freshman from Los Angeles. 18th made 3 of the season. And the 5th in the game for Duke. Up by 16. Harris knocked away Boozer.
Talk about this team really charts deflections. And speaking of Duke, and they've been really good steals, deflections in this game.
Working on a 25-game home winning streak. Colvin boxes out for the rebound. Dukes won 12 in a row at home against ACC opponents. That's a three from Harris. Maybe that gets them going, Mike.
Yeah, that's the thing, and I talk about it in games from time to time about getting into a rhythm at the free throw line, and you know, nobody guarding you. They just feel very comfortable, and then all of a sudden your jump shot opens up for you.
50 made threes on the season now for Juke Harris, and that leads the team. Boozer on the entry, over the defender Baloo.
You know, I talk about getting the ball in motion, and for a big guy, it's really important, and Boozer does a great job of that. So difficult to defend.
Harris again found the hot spot.
We touched on him in the open. He was very quiet in the first half, but Juke Harris starting to heat up.
Trying to get Wake back into this one. And a turnover. Harris! He'll jam it! And it's the Juke Harris show, Mike, over the last couple minutes.
I mean, you know, scorers are going to get their numbers, and it took him a little while to get going, but especially, you know, you give him an easy layup like that.
Omania turned down the three-pointer. Came it off for a three, and it's money from Darren Harris.
Well, I mean, both Harris and Omania have gotten wide open looks, but they paid them off.
Juke Harris has the last 10 points for Wake Forest. They work it to the corner, and they get a three out of Omaha Baloo.
They give Wake Forest a lot of credit in this game so far, just coming up on 12 minutes. Every time Duke looks like they're getting ready to really stretch things out, Wake has had an answer.
Colvin had a block on the driving. Foster trying to get it back, and a foul called. It'll go against the Blue Devils. And Wake Forest now, Mike, has made 10 three-pointers in the game on 25 tries.
Which was going to be a necessary stat for them coming into this game.
They make about 9 per game, Mike, which is 6th in the ACC, but their percentage overall near the bottom at 33% for the body of work this season.
Well, and frankly, too, I mean, we talk about the defensive job on Harris, but Schwieger has stepped up into the alert. You know, he's filled the void and kept them in this game.
He is on the bench right now, though, Mike, with the 4 personal fouls game.
Well, and they were Trinity College back then. They were not Duke, and you know, that was, yeah. This series goes back to 05-06. Not 2019.
Founded as Trinity College in 1838. Duke on the run. Caden Boozer tied up on the way to the basket, and a foul is called.
Do you think those two have run a couple of two-man breaks in their time together? Cameron Boozer.
4 times state champs. The Boozer brothers. Caden Boozer at the free throw line, 73% of the season. He averages 6.5 points per game. The fastest growing cable news network in all of television is News Nation. News Nation respects all Americans and is news for all Americans. To find News Nation on your screen, go to newsnationnow.com. The headline in this game, an 11-point halftime lead for Duke after Wake had led by 7 earlier in the first half. Behind Juke Harris, Wake trying to make a move here midway through the second half with inside of 11.5 minutes to go. This is Harris. $15 points in the game right now for Juke Harris, who had just 3 in the first half on a made 3-point bucket. He's got 10 of the last 13 points for Wake.
And aside from that breakaway layup, he's had some tough looks. He's made some good jump shots.
Mason gave it up. Spillers. Shot clock is inside of 10. Akins around the edge. Harris got it away late in the clock. Cameron Boozer has another rebound.
He was sitting in the other corner and followed that play all the way the other side of the floor to get a look.
6 rebounds in the game now for Cameron Boozer at 18 points. He leads all scorers.
Notice that a lot of the players have been slipping at both ends of the floor. Well, again, we touched on him in the open and averaging 20 points a game, and this is why. He was very quiet first halftime, only 3 points, but has really gotten things going here in the second. An easy breakaway layup, and it really started for him at the free throw line in this half.
Harris is 4 of 4 from the line in the game for Wake. Foster out of the corner. Harris for 3. Long rebound. Brown got it, looking for Boozer for the double-fisted jam.
You know, it's amazing. If there is a loose Brown and Malik Brown is anywhere near it, like on that play, he's going to get his hands on it. You know, he leads his team in deflections. We talked about that stat earlier. But from the long rebound, and this is, you know, normally it's a good time to get a 3, but it also, the defense was scattered and Boozer just was all alone.
Harris into the paint. Got a bump from Foster on his hip.
Yeah, they're switching up and they're giving Harris some different looks defensively, and he's got a little bit of a size advantage over Caleb Foster, but not much. That's the thing it's sneaky about this Duke team. They're the second tallest team in the country. Just because they have nobody on the roster who is shorter than 6'4".
Evans just picked up that foul for Coach Shire, his second.
And again, a good thing for Wake Forest to get into the early bonus here. 10 minutes to go.
Harris, who's been to the free throw line 145 times this season, Mike. You're watching CW Courtside Saturday, presented by Allstate. You're in good hands. So glad that you're with us.
And Tom, he's had double-figure free throw attempts 6 times this year, which is really ridiculous. But that's the ability to not only shoot threes, but put the ball on the floor as well, draw contact.
Harris has 12 of the last 15 points for Wake. Foster. Boozer. One power dribble to the basket. Got his own miss and let it in. And a foul on the
play. Just 14th offensive rebound for Duke. Staying with it, he just beat everybody off the floor on a second effort.
Spillers picked up his 3rd personal to put Boozer at the free throw line with 22 points. Three for 3 on free throws. He's earned himself a breather on the John Shire bench.
This is the time you got the media under 8 coming up, but with Boozer out, an opportunity to kind of hang in there for Wake Forest. And this is what they want. Is if they can do this, if they can slow the game down, make it ugly, get to the free throw line, it'd be a great game plan for the last 9.5 minutes.
That's the 4th foul on Foster as Steve Forbes looks on.
Well, you see the problem that Juke Harris poses for you defensively. Dame Sarr is sitting on the bench with 4 fouls, and now Foster has 4 fouls.
That was Brown who threw it off Ballou, out of bounds. Duke ball as Harris missed the free throw. Foster to the bench. We showed you a moment ago, 26 in a row at this venue for Duke against visiting Wake Forest. The last win in the series for Wake was February of 2024. They beat Duke at home 83-79. The last win here, January of 97. 81-69. Wake won it. Haven't won since. And it's their only meeting this season. So Mason has picked up his second personal. Menya on the inbounds. Caden Boozer has 4 points in the game. 1 of 2 for the floor, a couple of free throws as well. His brother's on the bench with 23 points. Ngongba at the rim.
Foul called, but he should have. It's a play that he should have finished. Yeah, if you give up the baseline in this situation, there's no way help can come, and you got to try to force him back to the middle somehow. But again, that good quick move, you just get there. If any kind of double team is coming, you beat it.
$13 points now for Ngongba. And don't forget game 2 at CW Courtside Saturday. Mike Young and Virginia Tech on the road to take on Pat Kelsey and the Louisville Cardinals. KFC Yum Center.
Just wishing everybody safe travels and being safe over the next few days. This game moved from 5:45 to noon because of the impending weather.
Three of 5 now from the line for Ngongba. 69-53. Duke in front. Trying to win their 7th game in a row and improve their record to 18-1 and 7-0 in conference play at the top of the standings. Knocked away by Brown. Mason was driving for Wake.
Those are just the little things that he does out on the floor. And that's tough, and with 3-point shooting, there are longer rebounds.
Evans! All the way to the basket in the largest lead of the game for the Blue Devils.
And Evans doing a good job. The 3 wasn't going, so he decided to go to the rim.
Spillers off target.
This may be in the timeout range. Steve Forbes may be trying to get underneath 8, but
Brown got it back. 2-man game, Evans. Ballou bumped Evans as he hit the deck. How about 15 offensive rebounds for Duke as Brown knocks this one away. And then Isaiah Evans all the way to the rim. You're watching CW Courtside Saturday, presented by Allstate.
and that lead, this extension came with him on the bench as well.
Evans at the free throw line for Duke, sophomore from Fayetteville, North Carolina. 88% free throw shooter. That's the best on the team. Had the game-winning shot against Florida in early December in the ACC SEC Challenge. That was right here on Coach K court. Shot clock is at 10 for Wake. Taken by Caden Boozer. Menya couldn't handle a pass.
Just a count too early that time. They'd gone and sold out and luckily broke up the play on the other end. %,
as a team for the floor of the game for Wake. Very early in this half, they cut the lead to 9. Spillers looked for the monster jam and didn't get it.
I looked at him and he was looking for the defensive help, and rather than concentrating on finishing the play.
Deflected out of bounds off Wake.
You could see him when he goes up here, he's kind of looking around and just completely misjudged it.
Duke has its largest lead of the game at this juncture inside of 7 minutes to go in regulation. 73-53 after leading by 11 at halftime. Evans. Back to Boozer. Cameron on the offensive glass. Caden missed. Cameron didn't.
Yeah, Ballou just couldn't block him out. Nice job forcing him under the rim. Easy conversion. Second chance opportunities.
Ballou. Brown might have got a piece of Ballou on the way up. This just game 1 of CW Courtside Saturday game 2. Michael Brown Jr. returns for the Louisville Cardinals.
We talked about it, Tom, that they've been injured, and he's been a huge part of it. Another freshman having an outstanding season, but Louisville needs him to come back desperately.
Taking on Virginia Tech, which has lost some excruciating games at the buzzer, including a Boopy Miller mid-court shot.
Yep.
And Boopy used to wear the colors of Wake Forest in the ACC. After the free throws, Ballou will go to the Steve Forbes bench. Steve Forbes, the ACC Coach of the Year back in 2022. Won 25 games, 13 in the ACC, 18-2 at home. They're on the road today.
And in his stint at Wake Forest, has done as well in the portal as getting great players.
Salas, Appleby, Alondas Williams, the list goes on.
Players of the year.
Boozer. Whistle prior to the jam by Brown. So that is the 5th on Schwieger. Mikey had 12 points today on 5 of 7 shooting. He's been disqualified. 5th personal foul. Certainly a bright spot for Steve Forbes today.
Well, and that's, I was saying that earlier, that this is maybe a game for him to build it on. He's showing a little leadership over on the sideline, but to kind of break out and say, hey, I can be a factor offensively for this team.
He's certainly a veteran player, playing in his 84th game in college this afternoon. He'll leave the game with the 5 personal fouls. Boozer's at the free throw line. 10th time this season, 25 points or more as a freshman in a Duke uniform. He's in some elite company.
And this is, and we've talked about those two at the top of the list in the same year. Who do you lock in on? But for Boozer, he's gotten much more efficient at the free throw line.
In 2019, Duke was ACC tournament champs, as they were last year. They've won it 23 times, the most of any ACC program. Spillers came up short. Fight for the loose ball. Harris squeezed up the shot. Brown ended up with it. All the way to the Final Four last year for Duke under John Shire. Now in his 4th season as one of the more decorated players to come through Durham. Ballou, 3rd personal.
You're getting old when you call games of the fathers who are sitting in the stands watching their sons play. But Carlos, a great player here. Remember the 2001 national championship team?
A win against Arizona in the title game, Mike, in Minneapolis. And by the way, Mike, the Final Four this year is in Indianapolis.
It has served this school well. It's interesting, I think that Cameron has got a little bit more of a face-up game than his father, can put it on the floor a little bit better.
Last national title back in 2015 and a win against Wisconsin in the title game at Lucas Oil Stadium. Wake Forest has not made a field goal in over 7 minutes. Akins, mid-range, round the board. John Shire got to 100 wins as the head coach at Duke, fastest of any coach in ACC history. He did it in 122 games, G-Man.
Yeah, you win 95% of games at home, and you can get there a little bit quicker than most.
Got number 100 mid-December.
You know, it's really hard, and then knocking down the three is blue. It's not easy to follow a legend. And you know, we see that with Jim Boeheim and up in Syracuse. But to follow Mike Krzyzewski here and the coach at your alma mater is not an easy thing either. And John has handled it really well.
Freshman season in a Duke uniform. For the season, Mike, he shoots close to 60% from the floor. It's outrageous. Might even be salacious. Harris, straightaway three for Juke.
Yeah, and he has quietly got snuck back up and almost getting to his season average.
So Juke Harris has 20 points. His season average 20.5, which is third in the ACC. It was a slow start for Harris. Inside Evans, behind the back line of the Wake D.
Well, again, with him, with a three-point shooter, I mean, you got to pick what you're going to do, and you're going to pressure out on the three-point line. He's done a decent job taking what the defense has given him.
Evans is the third Blue Devil to get to double digits in scoring as Baloo misses close to the basket. I mean, Mike, we told you what Wake was up against. Duke, the number 5 team in the nation, 17-1. On a 6-game winning streak. They won 13 in a row against ACC opponents and 28 of the last 29 against teams in this league.
Well, and I think, too, the real impressive number, and it started in the preseason with the finish in there with Foster. They're 8-1 in quad 1 games. Lethal weapon 3.
Brian's a former ACC tournament MVP, playing for Bobby Cremens, our friend and colleague. Didn't you know Bobby's watching from somewhere? As Duke is closing in on its 18th win of the season. Just over 2.5 minutes to go in regulation, so glad you've been with us. Tom Wormy, Mike Jaminski, the All-American from Duke, and our outstanding CW production team, led by executive producer Rob Reichley, director Ken Neal. Off the edge of the rim, that might be this game in a nutshell for Wake Forest.
Especially second half, they've gotten in, there have been some missed dunks, missed layups, missed opportunities inside.
For the effort this afternoon for the Blue Devils. Cameron Boozer, 32 points, 11 of 20 from the floor. He's made 3 three-pointers, hasn't missed a free throw, 9 rebounds, and 4 assists. I got to take a breather after all that, Mike.
Yeah, no, it's a great fantasy league pickup if you can get it.
Just an amazing talent.
Well, and you know, and I've said that. And Danny Ferry is in the crowd today, and you know, the sons of guys who play pro ball have a little bit of an edge. I mean, he just learns stuff that, you know, the normal kids don't learn, and you know, he's grown up with it, and you know, especially having a father who plays a lot like you, so much of a big edge.
Scored 30 a week ago at Stanford. And then 32 today against Wake Forest. This is the only meeting between the teams this season, Mike.
The big thing on both of those games out west is they hold them in the 50s. You know, so when John Shire was talking about getting back and playing Duke defense, which they've done here in the second half.
Mike, you were talking about the quad 1 victories. Duke is 6-1 against ranked opponents this season as well. And that only loss was late December, Texas Tech, now the number 12 team in the nation at Madison Square Garden.
And in that game, they were like 0 for 100 from the free throw line, and they lose by 1. So
Wake also played Texas Tech this season and lost. So Monday night, Louisville, which is part of our CW Courtside Saturday doubleheader against Virginia Tech coming up, and then Virginia Tech on the road, Castle Coliseum, BC, North Carolina, Pitt.
And, actually moving the game to noon on Saturday gives them some more rest going into Monday's game.
Blue Devils will remain perfect in the league and at home. They'll be 9-0 on Coach K court, 3-0 in conference play. Technically 6-0 on the road because the game against Texas Tech was neutral court, Madison Square Garden. What a season. The Blue Devils, who went to the national semifinals last year before losing in a close game to Houston and San Antonio, Texas. Final minute from Cameron Indoor Stadium. Spillers for Wake.
Well, I'm really glad that they let the students come in from Siberia last night. It would have been cold in those tents.
Caden Boozer is fouled on his way to the basket. Yeah, but they were back out there very early this morning, as we showed you at the beginning of the broadcast. Mike and I were handing out coffee and donuts.
Like the USO running out there.
So the Blue Devils putting the finishing touches on this victory. 18th of the season, 18-1. Here's what we got for Wake. They are on the road, couple of home games. They'll travel to Georgia Tech, NC State, and Louisville. NC State, what a victory during the week. After they lost at home against Georgia Tech last Saturday, they go to Clemson and hand the Tigers their first home loss of the season. How can you figure it out, G-Man?
Yeah, no, it's been a little crazy down the roster. But again, to remind people, that game we have next week on this air are going to be honoring Rodney Rogers.
It is a triple header next week on CW Courtside Saturday. 2 women's games on Sunday. As that goes out of bounds off of Duke. And Jack Scott in there, number 20 in white. Scott spent 3 years in the Princeton program. And a timeout on the court with 18.8 to go. So in the series, Duke will continue its dominance. Again, you have to go back to 1997 to find that last win for Wake here in Durham. Don't forget Virginia Tech, Louisville, right after the conclusion of this game.
Well, and I'm a traditionalist, and I'm going to be sounding like my grandfather, but it's a shame that these guys only play once this year. And for Wake Forest, their games versus Duke and Carolina both on the road, so they don't get to see those. The people at home don't get to see those games.
Teams played twice last year in Winston-Salem and here in Durham, both wins for the Blue Devils. At the end of the shot clock, that's a bucket from the corner in Harris. Wake did everything it could to try to stay with Duke today, Mike, but in the end, Cameron Boozer, too much. He and his teammates will get the victory. Boozer leads the way with 32 points. 90-69. Duke over Wake.
And also Patrick Ngongba having a nice game